really navigating these first appointment problems. This is actually part 3 of our YouTube series, our Practice42 Insider Tips YouTube series. If you haven't watched the first 2, I would encourage you, although you don't have to watch the first 2 training videos. My name is Audrey Ehrhardt, and I'm the CEO and founder of Practice42. And I'm excited to share this with you because it really is addressing an issue that law firms are facing. If you watch part 1 of the series, a lot of the potential clients, and then people that we are working with at Practice42, the pandemic has cast this pall on the information that's coming into our firms. A lot of us have down moments, or we have negative moments where we're like, business is not coming in, this is not working, this is tied to the pandemic. And as I discussed in part 1, that is the question, is it really that? Or, did we have these problems all along and the pandemic has really just highlighted them? So we talked first about gathering that data that you need, whether it's software or not, you need data to make decisions. And if you're having a bad week, the first thing you'll think is, oh, I'm having a bad week, this isn't working. But we don't know if that's true. Is it a cyclical period for you? Is it just this week? Are we doing things the right way? We don't want to leave this to chance, and we don't want you to make decisions in a vacuum. It's one thing to feel it's a bad week. It's another thing to know that, hey, it's the 3rd week of October, and typically business is slow over the past 4 years in that week. We have to be really intentional and gather that data that we need. With that being said, though, I want to talk about your questionnaire, or whatever you call it, your fact finder, your intake form, whatever that is. If you are requesting that of a client who's coming in to meet with you, it needs to be what you need. And what we've seen with a ton of our clients and then people, lawyers all over the nation, is that they're using a questionnaire or an intake form or some sort of information gatherer or fact finder that they got from someone else. And I don't know how to say that best, because there are great forms you can get from other people. In our on-demand coaching program, we have a ton of them for you, depending on your practice area, that you can use. We implement them in different software programs, and I think that's great for attorneys. However, with that being said, a lot of times you don't need what I've created. You don't need what one of our attorney coaches has created. You need what you actually need for a first client meeting. So you want to think about that and think about that process. There are barriers now with sharing digital information. Potential clients don't want to share social security numbers. They don't want to share multiple phone numbers. They don't want to share decision makers. They only want to talk to you, and they want it to be quick and transparent and understand why you want this information. So if you're having any of those challenges that are more tied to questionnaire or intake form than anything else, we need to rethink your processes. We don't want people getting in front of you to have any barriers. We want them to be in front of you so you can sell them and show them how amazing you are and how you can solve their problems. And I know lawyers hate the concept of when we say the term selling, but we're talking about your potential client process right now, and we want you to be successful. So very, very important that we're talking about that as well. So I would encourage you to look at your questionnaire. Is it working the right way? Are you still sending out pen and paper or by mail? What does that look like? Do you have an assistant who can walk through it if the person has questions? If you're sending it electronically, do you have a follow-up system to remind someone to get it done before they're sitting in front of you? We don't want to send out a day before reminder, because that doesn't give anybody time to get anything done. So very important that we're thinking about what questionnaire do you need for your firm, how is it being delivered, and how do we have those strategic check-ins that won't bother clients but can make sure that they have the information in front of them, they can complete it in the best way possible for you.
Want more content like this from Practice42? Hit that like button and be sure to subscribe.